Hello, everyone, and welcome to your very first third quarter video. For those of you that do not know me, I am Mr. Cridge. So if you have Mr. Snyder as your teacher, you're going to see me making some videos from time to time. If you have me and Mrs. Hauge as teachers, you might see Mr. Snyder making videos from time to time. So every day you're going to have a different video to watch and then a different assignment to do. It's all 5 days of the week you need to be logging in and doing the work. Okay, so we probably will not have live Zooms with you, maybe a couple this quarter, but most days you're going to have videos to watch and an assignment that is due that night. So the assignment that we give you, we need you to do it today. Okay, we're going to keep them short, but we need you to do homework every single day. Okay, so this assignment, we have shared this with you on Google Classroom. Okay, so as I go through this, please follow along, fill in with me. And if you have any questions, email us and we can meet with you at 2:05. Okay, so today we are talking about average rate of change. Okay, so with average rate of change, we have a couple different ways we can talk about this. Slope is a big one when we're talking about linear functions, but we're trying to figure out how is something changing, right? Is it changing very quickly? Is it changing very slowly? What is the average rate that we are changing? All right, so let's look at some examples here. So on this slide, everyone knows when you get into one of these new fancy cars these days, it tells you your gas mileage, or if you've ever watched commercials about getting cars, and it says 32 miles per gallon. That is a rate of change. Okay, or if you look at your electric bill, that's measured in kilowatt hours, so 1 cent per kilowatt hour. Or if you go to the grocery store and you buy some hamburger meat, it might be $2.99 per pound. So that's a rate, dollars per pound. Or if you're running a race, if you're watching on the Olympics, people are swimming, they might be swimming at a rate of 10 meters per second. So that these are our rates. We have the y value, like meters, the x value would be seconds, 10 meters per second. Okay, so those are some examples of what you might be looking for. Okay, so let's try our very first one here. So if I look at this one, the first thing I'm going to do is just what we did last week, right? We looked at 2 points and we found the slope of this line using the points. Okay, so I can use any 2 points I want. I'll come at here. Oops, don't want to move them. I want to write on top. Hang on a sec. So if I want to look at these points here, I need to find the rate of change between my points. Okay, so to do that, let's just start at a point and let's just count down and let's count over. So if I start at this point here, I go down 20 and then I go over. Let me scroll up to see what my x values are just going over by 1, so that's nice. So I went down 20 and then over 1. Okay, so down 20 over 1, so that my slope would be negative 20 over 1. All right, so I went down 20 over 1, so it'd be negative 20 over 1. Now, here's what we want to do today. Let's put some units on this. So we know the y value goes on top. So what are the units of the y value? Well, I see them right here. It says feet. All right, so 20 feet is how far I went down. And then what's the change in the x value? So if I scroll down, oh, it's in minutes. Okay, so 20 feet per 1 minute. So we would say my average rate of change is negative 20 feet per minute. Okay, see where this is going here? So we're going to find the rate of change, which if it's linear, that's just finding the slope, and then we want to add in our units. Okay, so next problem here, I want you to see if you can do this one without me. Okay, so take a second, go ahead and pause the video, see if you can find the average rate of change and give me the units. Okay, ready? Pause. Okay, let's see what you came up with here. So first of all, I need to find 2 really good points here. Okay, does anyone see? Did you find 2 really good points out there? two nice solid points. I see one right here. Okay, and maybe this one up here. Okay, so I found these two good points. So now I'm just going to count. Okay, now we have to be a little careful with our units here, right? So if you look at your y values, they're going up by 15 every time. Okay, so here I go. So 15, 30. So I went up 30. Another way we could look at this, I started at 90 and I finished at 120. So I went up 30 and then over. So if you look, my x values are going up by 5. So 5, 10, 15. So over 15. So the change in y is 30. The change in x is 15. 15 divided by 30 divided by 15 is 2. Okay, so we got 30 over 15, which is equal to 2. But now I want to know my units. Okay, so the change in y, so the y value is money. So that means that money is going to go on the top, divided by the change in x, which is number of students. So money over students. Okay, so what would be my final units here? So I would say $2 per what? $2 per student. Okay, that is my final rate of change. Okay, $2 per student. So make sure you got that written down, and we can go to the next slide when we're ready. Okay, so the next one. So we have dollars in the account is my y value. Days after deposit is my x value. So first thing I have to do is do a little counting, find my slope. Let's find two good points here. Where does it cross? Some nice points that I can use. This one looks pretty good up here. That's a nice clean point. And I don't know. This one looks pretty good right here. So let's go with these 2 points here. Okay, so I'm going to start by counting down. How many did I go down? That's minus 15. So minus 15 over. So 2 jumps. How big is each jump? Ooh, I'm going up by 2's here. So this is over 2 and 2 over 4. So I went down 15 over 4. Okay, so now I need to know my units. So my y value is dollars in the account. My x value, if I look, is days. So I have dollars over days. So now let's put this all together. So minus 15 over 4, we could type that into Desmos if we wanted to, right? What would that be? Negative 3 and 3.75 maybe? So $3.75 per day. So that would be my average rate of change. So negative $3.75 per day. Okay, so we're same thing we did last week on that quiz. Find the slope, and now we just need to attach the units to it. Okay, so now we're looking at tables. Again, same thing we did last week. So I need to find the average rate of change. So I need to find the change in y over the change in x. So if you remember last week, we can subtract these to find out how we're changing. So if you want to go ahead and grab Desmos, we're going to do 23.36 minus 19.03. Subtract those. Again, you could just do this in Desmos if you wanted to. So 4.33 is the change in y. Okay? And then the change in x, well, I'm going up by 10s every time. So that makes it nice. So plus 10. So the change in y, okay, so that's 4.33 divided by the change in x, which is 10. When I divide that, I get 0.433. Okay, but I need to know my units. So what are the units for the y values? It says pounds per square inch. So I'm going to call this pounds. And then divided by 10 over here, that represents feet. So my average rate of change is 0.433 pounds per foot. And there we go. Okay, so hopefully we're getting the idea here. Find the rate of change just like last week, but now we have to attach our units, figure out what is your unit of the y value divided by. Okay, so I want you to see if you can do this one on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find the average rate of change. Ready, pause. All right, let's see how you did. So first thing I need to do is find the change in y here. So I'm going to subtract these. So if you wanted to, we could go ahead and grab Desmos and we could subtract these. Okay, so we said we needed to find how this changed. So I'm just going to grab Desmos, 937.40 minus 464.90. So this tells me right here 472.5. Okay, so I know, thanks to Desmos, that this is 472.5. That's the change in y. The change in x, I could use my calculator if I wanted to, but I can see this one pretty well. This is plus 150. Okay, so my average rate of change is going to be 472.5 divided by 150. So I'm going to go ahead and use Desmos again. What the heck? I got it here right here. So if I open up Desmos, I'm going to go ahead and type that in. So 472.5 divided by 150. So 3.15 is what it tells me. 3.15. And now I just need my units. Okay, so what are the y value units? The y value is cost. Okay, so it's cost on top. And then what are the x value units? Cubic feet. So if I want to be fancy, I can write that as feet cubed, cubic feet. So 315. What's my rate of change? Is 3.15 cost. We could maybe say dollars per. Oh boy, this is ugly. Cubic feet. Let me try again. Oh no, look, it's crazy. It's got a mind of its own. So 3.15, and that's dollars, we can call it, per cubic foot. So we can say feet, and then with our little cube symbol, and there we go. So 3.15 $3.15 per cubic foot. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Oh, just kidding. That's it, people. That's our notes for the day. Okay, so you have 2 homework problems that you have to do tonight. Let me explain what we're doing here on the homework, okay? You're going to have two problems. One is going to be looking at a graph. So you're going to have to look at a graph, find the slope by counting up, counting over, and then we need to see those units. That's the most important part of the day. Is it dollars per students? Is it miles per hour? Tell us the units, okay? So you have one, we have to use the graph. And then another one, we're going to use the table. So how does the y values change? How do the x values change? Simplify it, and then give us the units. Okay, pounds per foot, miles per hour. We have to see those units, or else you're just giving us a number and not really a rate of change. Okay, so 2 problems to do tonight. Make sure you turn those in today. We're going to grade them today. So please make sure that you have those uploaded into Google Classroom. So good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.